Hello everyone. I'm going to teach you this paper, which is known as MCO 22, and the name of the paper is Quantitative Analysis for Managerial Applications. This paper is basically about how to make decisions. It will help a manager in managerial decision making. He'll help in solving day-to-day problems which are faced by managers or decision makers, and it will provide basic mathematical and statistical tool which will help him in solving the day-to-day managerial decision problems. Okay, so I'll give you a basic introduction of this paper in this video. So let us start. So this paper, which is MCO 22, also known as Quantitative Analysis for Managerial Applications, this paper is basically divided into 4 blocks: Block 1, Block 2, Block 3, and Block 4. And each block contains 4 units each. Okay, so there are a total of 16 units in this paper. So let me give you an overview of Block 1. So Block 1 is basically about data collection and analysis. So this block deals with the various ways of data collecting, how to collect data, what are the various methods of collecting the data, what challenges you face when you collect the data. Then once you get the data, how to edit the data, and so on and so forth. Okay, and after you have collected the data, how to present that data in a very clean, in an understandable form. And once you have presented the data, how to analyze that data and come out with meaningful results. So this is about block 1. So block 1, as I told you, consists of 4 units. So first unit deals with data collection and analysis, in which we'll understand how to collect the data and how to analyze the data. Okay, and then coming to the second unit is presentation of data. So once you have collected the data, how to present the data so that it is very easily understandable by the reader. So there are various methods of presenting the data, like chart, like drawing charts, okay, or charting the data, or putting the data in a tabular form. Then third is measures of central tendency. So in this, basically, we'll study how to get an idea of the data, what is the location of the data points, where is the data concentrated. So here we'll be studying mean, median, mode, and so on for the measures of central tendency, okay? And then in the fourth unit, we'll study various method of variation and skewness. Variation is basically how the data is varying within itself. There are various methods to study variation we'll look into as we proceed with the unit. Okay, so this was about block 1. Then block 2 consists of probability and probability distribution. So in this, there are 4 units. So first unit, that is unit 5 in this block, deals with basic concepts of probability. We'll understand what is probability. Probability is basically a chance of an event to happen. We'll understand the basic probability definitions. Okay, what is the concept of probability? What are some of the rules of the probability? And then we'll go on to study probability distributions. So basically, there are 2 types of probability distribution. First is the discrete probability distribution, which we'll be studying in unit 6. Discrete probability distribution is basically for discrete variables, which do not take fractional values, and continuous probability distribution, which we'll study in unit 7. So continuous probability distribution is for variables which are continuous. So we'll study about these distribution as we go with the unit, as we discuss the unit. And then in unit 8, we'll discuss the decision theory. Okay, so what type of decisions a company has to face, how to solve those decisions, what are the quick ways to get answers to those decision questions. So this itself is interesting, and we'll study how to go about with the proper decision making. So this was about block 2. Block 3 consists of sampling and sampling distribution. So sample is basically when we are not able to study each and every unit of the population. When the population is quite vast, then we study sampling. It means that we take a certain sample and we try to study about that. So this block is basically about that only. So in this unit 9, we'll study what are the sampling methods, what are the various ways in which we can draw a sample, like simple random sampling, quota sampling, judgmental sampling, and so on. We'll study each of them in detail. And then we'll move on to unit 10, which is about sampling distribution. Sampling distribution is basically what is the distribution of the sample. Okay, what is the distribution of the sample statistic? Like, what is the distribution of the mean? So that is one type of sampling distribution. We'll study about those in detail in Unit 10. In Unit 11, we'll study testing of hypothesis. So testing of hypothesis is basically a hypothesis is a claim about a population. For example, the profit of a certain company is greater than 50%, or it is not greater than 50%. So whatever claim we make about the population, we go ahead and test it. This is the main idea of hypothesis testing, which we'll study in Unit 11. Unit 12, we study chi-square test. What are chi-square tests? What are they used for? Then this will complete block 3. Then block 4, we study forecasting methods. So based on the past data, if a company wishes to forecast that what will be my sale for the next month, or what will be my profit for the next coming 2 years. So all such we want to forecast the data based on the past data. So there are certain tools and techniques available for this. So in Unit 13, first of all, we'll study business forecasting, how forecasting is done in business. Then we'll move on to Unit 14, which is correlation. Correlation means what type of relation is there between two variables or more than two variables. And then in Unit 15, we'll study regression. Regression basically means how different set of variables or set of independent variable, they affect the other variable, which is also known as dependent variable. Okay, for example, what is suppose you want to study a performance of a student, so you can collect certain variables about the student, such as what were his marks, what was his family background, and so on, and then study the effect of those variables on the performance of the student. So regression is all about the relationship between the set of variables. And then the last unit is Unit 16, in which we study time series analysis. So basically how a variable behaves over time. Okay, is there a pattern in over time if we study some variables? What are the various techniques for time series analysis? So this all we'll study in block 4. So overall, this paper is going to be interesting. You'll learn many new things. Once you go through this paper and you study this paper, you'll understand what basically managerial decision making is all about, what are the techniques for analysis of business decision making, which will be very useful for your career. And if you plan to do some managerial work or even in companies, so this all the methods will be very important for your, especially in data science if you want to go. So all these in various other fields also, these all, whatever the techniques you study in this paper, they are going to help you a lot. Okay, so importance of this course I have already told you, but this course will provide you basic concepts in quantitative techniques which will be used for your managerial applications. Okay, so you will study all different type of techniques which will help you in decision making. And then so as I told you, so if you have to make any decision in business situation, then fact will be expressed in quantitative data, even in qualitative. So facts can be in qualitative form also. So if you have a very accurate and reliable data, if you've collected the data properly, then your statistical investigation will be successful and you'll get reliable results. So how to do all this, how to get the data, how to analyze the data, how to get the results, how to interpret the results, all such things we study in this paper. Okay, so this paper is very important and I hope you all will enjoy this paper and all the best with this course. Okay, thank you all.